When he was born, they noticed right away that he was missing his front arms, or with deformed front arms. And he's also missing most of his sternum, which is the bone that connects your rib cage in the front. When he was about 6.5 weeks old, usually you'd leave them with mom a little longer, but he was so much smaller than the other puppies, and he was struggling to get enough to eat sometimes. They'd push him off. And then also he'd go pee and just sort of crawl through it. And they were just struggling, and we wanted to get him set up with a wheelchair as soon as possible so he could move around a little better. We call Winnie the Roo because he looks like a kangaroo, and Winnie's sort of signature thing is he loves to stand up. He can walk a few steps when he stands up, but mainly he can stand up. That's the thing that people always think is really neat with Winnie. His back legs are incredibly strong, and he's always standing up, and he can jump like a kangaroo just on his back legs. Like, he can hop while standing up. His back legs are just so strong. Standing up is kind of his go-to move to kind of impress people, for sure. When you first hear no front legs or you see them, they kind of feel like, oh, poor dog. Maybe he can't, there's a lot of things he can't do. And Winnie and Wally just love to show people that that's not true. They can do everything that our dogs with four legs can do. They have just such an amazing life and so much fun. And he's been very mobile his whole life. Winnie lives at Charlotte's Freedom Farm, which is an animal sanctuary, a nice big farm. So he had a wheelchair right away, and then his whole life he's had them as he's grown. There's other dogs here, so he very quickly became friends with the other dogs and the cats right from when he was young. He was friends with everyone. And then a few weeks after we took him in, I took in a little piglet who was about his size, and they became really good friends as well. Winnie adjusted really well because he had so many friends, and we were lucky. We were able to get him a custom-made wheelchair right pretty much within a few weeks of him coming. So he has the most fun days. He's outside if it's a nice day all day. And when he wants to come back in, he'll stand up and look in the window at the front door, and then he uses his little bent arm to knock on the door. The cutest thing. He's got lots of dog friends, but then he also has friends who are sheep, and he likes to watch the ducks and chickens and the cows and the different animals. Winnie has a lot of fun. He rides around on the gator with me and helps when I'm doing different chores, comes and visits the animals. He's pretty involved in everything. Wally came a few months after Winnie, and he has a similar deformity with his front arms being deformed. Wally came as a puppy, and they bonded very quickly. So as much as Winnie is friends with all the animals here, Wally would be probably one of his closest. Winnie and Wally are pretty inseparable. If I go outside right now, pretty good chance Winnie and Wally are together doing something. They run around and play. They ride around on the tractor and the gator and stuff. They will lay and watch the ducks and chickens just living their life. They're pretty much up for anything. If I go anywhere with my truck to, into town for anything, Winnie is always with me. He comes right up to the truck and stands up, hops right in. There's a sheep, Chip, who's about just over 1 year old now, and Winnie's been friends with him since he was just a baby. Chip came when he was about 1 day old. The lamb also needs to use a wheelchair because his front arms are bent. So Winnie likes to hang out with Chip. Yesterday I had him in visiting Chip, and he just went running right over and lay down beside him. So cute. And Winnie is friends with everyone. So he's just a very outgoing, happy dog. The important thing for me is just for people to see how well he does, how happy he is, and to not feel sorry when they see animals with disabilities like that, just because it's just important to realize that the dogs don't care. It doesn't hold them back. It doesn't hold him back. He has no fear of anything. He's just like a regular dog, and dogs like him really do deserve a chance to find a home and live their whole life. I know that sometimes people would see them and say, oh, that dog can't have a happy life. And I just hope that Winnie can help show people that that's not true.